Outdoor adventures can be thrilling, but some have turned into absolute nightmares. From fatal accidents to deadly encounters with nature, these are the most terrifying stories ever caught on record. Stick around as we reveal 1 hour of the worst deaths in the history of outdoor adventures, with proof.
Angel's Landing Trail has been a beloved destination in Zion National Park since it opened to the public in the summer of 1926. Renowned for its awe-inspiring views, the trail draws in hundreds of thousands of hikers annually, all eager to tackle the challenge it presents. Even under ideal conditions, navigating the Angel's Landing Trail requires remarkable coordination. The ascent is long and steady, with an elevation gain of nearly 1,500 feet. As a hiker makes the climb, they may experience dehydration, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke as they experience more sun rays. There is also no water available on the entire route, making it compulsory for every climber to carry at least a quart or two of water if they are to survive the hike. The ultimate challenge comes when climbers reach the last half mile of the trek. At this point, they must continue hiking by holding on to the chains that run parallel to the trail, or else they risk falling into the orange sandstone. Despite the trail's reputation for its challenging terrain and potential risks, 45-year-old Tate Ryan Volino from Osprey, Florida, decided to hike up the trail like countless others before him. On March 3, 2017, he began the trek, which is approximately a 5.4-mile round trip on the eastern edge of Refrigerator Canyon. Rather than joining a group hike, which often provides a sense of security and assistance in times of trouble, Volino opted for a solo expedition. His decision to go solo suggests that he was an experienced hiker, although it was never confirmed. At some point during the climb, Volino fell off one of the higher points on the trail, plummeting straight down to his death. There was no one with him when it happened, so it was unclear what led to his fall. Shortly after, a couple of hikers in the vicinity discovered Volino lying sprawled out motionless on the rocky terrain. They quickly contacted Zion Park's authorities about the situation they had encountered. Thereafter, personnel were dispatched to secure the area and close the trail from other hikers while the park's search and rescue team recovered the body of Volino. The trail was reopened later that day after Volino's body had been taken away. An investigation carried out into Volino's untimely death revealed a high visibility of trauma on his body. This was consistent with injuries sustained from a high fall, although the exact height he fell from remained unknown. His death was later characterized as a tragic hiking accident, as reported by the park authorities. It also marked the 15th death on the Angel's Landing Trail and the first for that year. While he was alive, Volino was known as a prolific writer who once worked in the financial services sector. He wrote numerous golf-themed books and fictional works, including The Front Nine and Pull the Pin. Beyond his literary pursuits, he dedicated his time to volunteering with organizations such as Habitat for Humanity, demonstrating his commitment to serving his community. Additionally, he found solace and joy in kayaking whenever he could seize the opportunity. At the time of his tragic passing, he was survived by his loving wife and 2 sons, whose names were never disclosed. Seasoned rock climber and yoga instructor embarked on a fateful journey to Yosemite alongside his girlfriend, Janie Dial. The couple's adventure took a romantic turn when Parker proposed to Dial atop the majestic Cathedral Peak, a testament to their shared love for adventure and each other. At 36 years old, Parker was no stranger to the thrill of conquering towering cliffs and navigating rugged terrain. His passion for rock climbing was matched only by his dedication to yoga and massage therapy, which spoke to his holistic approach to life. Fresh from a surfing trip to Indonesia, Parker eagerly anticipated exploring Yosemite's breathtaking landscapes, with his beloved Janie by his side. Janie Dial, a digital media producer and fellow climber, shared Parker's adventurous spirit and enthusiasm for life. The couple's bond had deepened throughout their year-long relationship, fueled by a mutual passion for exploration and a shared love of the outdoors. Parker's proposal atop Cathedral Peak marked the culmination of a perfect day, a moment he described as the best of his life. Against the backdrop of Yosemite's stunning vistas, he professed his love for Dial, sealing their commitment with a heartfelt proposal to which she eagerly said yes. However, what began as a moment of unbridled joy quickly turned into a nightmare of unimaginable proportions. In the blink of an eye, tragedy struck, shattering the idyllic tranquility of their mountaintop paradise. Following the euphoria of his mountaintop proposal to Janie Dial, Brad Parker's decision to embark on a solo climb along Mathis Crest proved a fatal mistake. He ignored the inherent risks of tackling the granite crest without ropes, and his adventurous spirit led him down a dangerous path. Parker's solitary climb took a tragic turn as the sun dipped below the horizon and darkness descended upon the rugged landscape. A fall from the towering granite crest, reaching a staggering 500 feet in height, sealed his fate, leaving him lying lifeless amidst the unforgiving terrain. Clear, shrouded in the unfathomable depths of grief and disbelief. In a cruel twist of fate, Parker's life was cut short, leaving Dial to grapple with the heart-wrenching reality of his sudden absence. Search and rescue crews mobilized in response to the distress call and raced against time to locate Parker's whereabouts. Tragically, their efforts proved futile, as Parker was pronounced dead at the scene, his body lying silent amidst the vast expanse of Yosemite's wilderness. The news of Parker's untimely passing reverberated through the climbing community, leaving friends and fellow adventurers in disbelief. Parker's adventurous spirit had taken him across the globe, from the towering peaks of Yosemite to the rolling waves of Indonesia's surf breaks. For those who knew him best, came as a devastating blow, shattering the illusion of invincibility that had surrounded the seasoned climber. Fatigue, exacerbated by dehydration and cramps, may have played a role in the tragic accident, a sobering reminder of the inherent risks of pushing one's limits in the unforgiving wilderness. Despite his extensive experience and intimate knowledge of Yosemite's terrain, Parker's tragic fall served as a reminder of the unpredictable nature of adventure. His family, grief-stricken and bewildered by the sudden loss of their beloved son, struggled to come to terms with the harsh reality of his passing. In the wake of his death, Parker's legacy lived on in the memories of those he had touched. A seasoned climber who had scaled some of Yosemite's most iconic walls, including the formidable Half Dome, Parker's passion for adventure and exploration had left an indelible mark on the climbing community. On Monday, September 14, 2015, a group of 7 hikers set out to explore Keyhole Canyon in Zion National Park, which by the usual estimates should take anywhere from 1 to 4 hours. The group consisted of adults between 40 and 50 years of age, most of whom were California residents. According to reports, their names were Mark McKenzie, Linda Arthur, her husband Steve, Gary Favela, Muku Reynolds, Robin Broom, and Don Teichner. Some of them had taken a canyoneering skills course prior to the hike, as they were newbies to the hobby. Others knew each other through a hiking club in Valencia, California. Together, they weren't the best team, but they had enough experience to get them through the hike on any typical day. However, that seemingly ordinary day in September held something else in stock for the hikers. Just 2 hours past noon, authorities were forced to shut down all the canyons in the vicinity following an unforeseen storm that triggered flash floods. Despite park rangers routinely cautioning hikers about the dangers of floods during monsoon season, this group had defiantly chosen to venture into the canyon. Although the reason behind their decision remains unclear, it might have stemmed from the fact that the Keyhole Canyon permits were coveted by many, as only 80 visitors are allowed to visit it per day. When the storm hit, the hikers were unaware of the flash flooding it had caused. This is because Keystone Canyon is predominantly desert terrain, and there was no means of reaching them in time to warn them ahead. Unfortunately, they ended up getting caught in an unexpected deluge of floodwaters while they were descending the canyon. It likely rushed over their heads in moments and carried them miles downstream to their watery demise. Perhaps the group's dire situation might never have been known if not for 3 other hikers who had crossed paths with them earlier during their own hike. At this chance encounter, they helped the group capture a photograph of themselves that would tragically mark the final image they would ever share. The 3 hikers, who had narrowly escaped being met by the flash floods, alerted the park rangers about the 7 hikers when they arrived back at base. With this crucial information at hand, the rangers moved to locate the hikers' vehicles to confirm if they were able to make it back. However, when the rangers arrived at their location, their owners were nowhere in sight. Typically, a search and rescue operation would have been mobilized immediately to locate the missing hikers. However, initiating one at the time was deemed too dangerous due to the storm. Hours later, search and rescue teams aided by specially trained dogs combed through several miles of the area. They searched for any sign of the hikers, be it their remains or any indications that one of them had managed to survive the ordeal. The former ended up being the case. Across 1 week, the bodies of each of the 7 hikers popped up in different locations within the canyon, confirming that the flash flood had indeed claimed their lives. The news devastated their families as well as local hiking communities, which some of them belonged to. Several months later, a memorial bench was erected at Topanga State Park to honor the memory of the hikers who lost their lives in the tragic incident. In the heart of Yosemite National Park, 3 friends found themselves in a tragic story of friendship and loss among towering cliffs and rushing waterfalls. Hormiz David, a 22-year-old music student from Modesto Junior College, Ninos Yakub, a 27-year-old chemistry student at California State University, Stanislaus, and Ramina Badal, a 21-year-old student at the University of San Francisco, went on a day trip with family and friends, their laughter mixed with the distant roar of Vernal Fall. Bound by their faith and close friendship, the trio had built strong connections that went beyond their academic and geographic backgrounds. As members of the same church and series, their bond deepened through shared worship and companionship, proving the strength of their community. On that day, the 3 friends enjoyed the beauty of the natural world. Despite warnings from bystanders, they stepped into the shallow waters, their carefree laughter breaking the quiet of the valley. However, the calm of their leisurely swim was shattered when tragedy struck unexpectedly. One moment they were enjoying the cool embrace of the water, the next they were caught in a dangerous situation. Hormiz, Ninos, and Ramina had ignored the barriers and ventured onto a rock in the middle of the river for a photo opportunity. Disaster struck quickly when Ramina began to slip, prompting David to reach out, only to lose his balance and plunge into the frigid waters. In a desperate attempt to help, Yakub followed, and soon all 3 were swept away by the relentless current. As the news of the tragedy spread, a wave of grief engulfed the tight-knit community in Ceres. Hormiz, Ninos, and Ramina, vibrant young individuals with bright futures, were suddenly taken from this world, their dreams and aspirations extinguished in an instant. Jake Bibby, a witness to the events at Vernal Fall, recounted the harrowing moments with a heavy heart. As he reached the top of the mist trail, he saw a crowd near the river, some dangerously close to the waterfall, unaware of the risks. Among them, a man held a frightened young girl, while another captured the scene on camera. Bibby and other onlookers felt powerless as they witnessed the tragic scene unfold. Despite the screams and prayers echoing through the valley, there was nothing they could do to intervene. The haunting image of Yakub's resigned expression as he floated downstream remained etched in Bibby's memory, a stark reminder of life's fragility. Following the accident, Yosemite National Park mobilized search and rescue teams to scour the area for any sign of the missing trio. Despite their efforts, the search brought no immediate results, leaving friends and family to grapple with the agonizing uncertainty of their fate. For the close-knit Christian community, the loss was profound. They gathered for a solemn prayer vigil, clinging to each other for comfort amid overwhelming grief. Yet even as they mourned, there remained a glimmer of hope that their loved ones might be found, their faith guiding them through the darkest times. Hormiz David's body was the first to be recovered, a bittersweet moment for his grieving loved ones. Months passed before Ninos Yakub's remains were discovered. They were trapped beneath colossal boulders revealed by the receding river. Finally, in December, search efforts intensified, leading to the discovery of another body, believed to be that of Romina Badal. Though the search had ended, the pain of their loss endured. On Saturday, June 5, 2021, 26-year-old Cassie Brown, an avid canyoneer and beloved guide for the Zion Adventure Company, went on a solo canyoneering trip in Zion National Park. In the past, she had often joined other local canyoneers in trying out different terrains. Other times, she had also gone with her mother, who was a fellow enthusiast. However, she chose to go alone on this particular day for unknown reasons. Given Cassie's love for the hobby and her known dedication to safety, her trip was expected to be just another normal one, filled with the thrill of exploration. However, when she stepped out that morning, none of her family could have imagined it would be the last time they would see her alive. As she made her way through the trip, Brown reached a canyon that many considered easy to navigate. Just as she descended off it, she faced a challenge she hadn't anticipated. Her rope, a trusted lifeline that had secured previous descents, unexpectedly got stuck on a rappel. She repeatedly tried to shake it free from the rope, but it refused to budge. At this point, she was at a crossroads of choice. She could either wait for people to find her or try to ascend the rope to her previous route. But since there was no guarantee anyone else would traverse the canyon that day, the prospect of spending a long night trapped halfway down seemed not to appeal to her. Brown then decided to take the bold option of ascending the rope. Regrettably, her choice proved to be ill-fated. While ascending the rope, it unexpectedly gave way at some point. This sudden release propelled her into a harrowing free fall of approximately 50 to 80 feet, ending with her body crashing mercilessly onto the unforgiving rocky terrain below. The impact instantly inflicted her with multiple severe injuries, including broken bones in different parts of her body. An hour after Brown's fall, another group of canyon explorers stumbled upon her abandoned climbing gear. To them, it clearly indicated that a hiker had run into some trouble somewhere within the canyon. Taking the initiative, a member of the party was sent back to inform Zion's search and rescue team, who immediately mobilized their resources and expertise to locate and aid Brown. As the search for Brown intensified, the search and rescue team took decisive measures to ensure her swift rescue, even though it was initially unclear where she had fallen. They temporarily closed off several surrounding hiking routes vital for accessing the canyon, such as the Narrows, Mystery, and Orderville canyons. Even popular stops like the Temple of Sinawava shuttle stop and Riverside Walk were also closed off during the search period. A rescue helicopter was also dispatched to further facilitate the search. However, the canyon's sheer steepness and narrow confines prevented it from reaching Brown's location. After a few hours, medical personnel finally managed to reach Brown, who was lying on the ground, barely alive. They began administering initial treatments and preparation for moving her out of the canyon into the hospital. But sadly, this was a futile effort. Within moments of their arrival, she passed away, succumbing to the injuries she had sustained after her fall. Brown's body was later recovered from the canyon on Sunday evening and taken to the morgue. An investigation was opened to determine the exact cause of the accident, although foul play was not suspected. Following her death, Brown received many tributes from friends and other canyoneers who frequented Zion National Park. One person said she always brought a valued and skilled perspective to the limestone slots of the Grand Canyon and was a masterful practitioner in the art of canyoning. Another person remarked that she was dedicated to service and sharing her knowledge and love of the outdoors with others. Meenakshi Murthy and her husband Vishnu Vishwanath were not your typical couple. Fueled by their insatiable wanderlust, they embarked on a journey that transcended mere sightseeing, delving into the heart of adventure and exploration. Their relocation from New York to California opened up a world of possibilities, providing them with a perfect backdrop to pursue their passion for travel and photography. At 29, Viswanath was a dedicated employee at Cisco, while his 30-year-old wife, Meenakshi, found joy in immersing herself in the wonders of tourism. Together, they epitomized the essence of wanderlust, their shared love for exploration guiding them to breathtaking destinations around the globe. On their blog, Meenakshi and Vishnu described themselves as travel-obsessed and documented their escapades with breathtaking photos and heartfelt anecdotes. From snowy peaks to romantic getaways in Europe, their journey was a testament to their boundless spirit and thirst for adventure. Selfies taken atop gondolas in Venice, against the backdrop of the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and within the hallowed halls of the Vatican, captured the essence of their wanderings, each snapshot a cherished memory frozen in time. However, amidst the beauty and splendor of their travels, Meenakshi was candid about her struggles with mental health. Using her social media platforms as a platform for advocacy, she bravely spoke out about her battle with depression, shedding light on the often taboo topic and offering support to those who found themselves grappling with similar demons. This couple, however, met their end while doing what they loved. They were taking a selfie while setting up their tripod near the mountain's edge. Shortly thereafter, they slipped and fell. The tragic deaths of Meenakshi Murthy and Vishnu Viswanath sent shockwaves through the Yosemite National Park community, casting a somber shadow over the breathtaking vistas of Taft Point. What began as a day of exploration and adventure ended in unimaginable tragedy as the couple, caught up in the thrill of capturing the perfect selfie, met their untimely demise. Sean Matson, an East Bay resident who had also visited Yosemite, unwittingly found himself at the center of the tragedy when he realized he may have captured the couple in his final photograph near Taft Point. Murthy's distinctive dyed pink hair served as a haunting reminder of the couple's presence just moments before their fatal slip. The selfie, once a lighthearted memento of a day spent amidst the grandeur of nature, now took on a solemn significance, serving as a poignant reminder of the fragility of life. The image, since taken down out of respect for the deceased, served as a sobering testament to the couple's final moments. Park rangers, alerted by hikers who stumbled upon the grim scene, launched a recovery operation that led to the recovery of Murthy and Viswanath's bodies, approximately 800 feet below Taft Point. The devastating injuries they sustained, including multiple traumas to the head, neck, chest, and abdomen, painted a grim picture of the fall's sheer brutality. Dr. Sung-Ok Baek, a forensic pathologist tasked with unraveling the mysteries of their deaths, confirmed that no drugs were present in their bodies. However, laboratory tests revealed the presence of alcohol, the same element commonly found in alcoholic beverages, such as beer, wine, and hard liquor. The extent of their intoxication remained unknown, leaving lingering questions about the role alcohol played in their tragic accident. Jishnu Viswanath, Vishnu's brother, shed light on the events leading up to the fatal fall, revealing that the couple had been attempting to capture a memorable selfie after setting up their camera. It was a moment of youthful exuberance and spontaneity, fueled by the desire to capture their Yosemite adventure in a single snapshot. Little did they know that their quest for the perfect photo would ultimately lead to their demise. On Tuesday, November 20th, 2022, a 33-year-old man and his 31-year-old wife, a married couple, embarked on a permitted 16-mile journey through the Narrows in Zion National Park. This hike typically involves wading through the chilly waters of the Virgin River as it winds its way through an expansive slot canyon. In this area, cell phone reception is virtually non-existent because of its distance from cell towers, and the solid rock and earth forming a canyon also absorb or weaken any signals that manage to penetrate through. While this might have seemed daunting to many, the couple definitely didn't feel this way about the hike. As planned, they quickly covered the miles in good time. However, as nightfall approached, their situation took a turn for the worse. Despite starting the hike with temperatures at a relatively comfortable 49 degrees, the weather unexpectedly plummeted to dangerously low levels. Shockingly, it continued to drop steadily, even plunging below the freezing point. The cold soon proved overwhelming for the couple as they made their way along the hiking trail. It was even worsened by their lack of proper protective gear to ward off the chill. Before long, they began exhibiting symptoms consistent with hypothermia. This condition occurs when the body's temperature drops below normal levels because it's losing heat faster than it can generate it. Sometime during the night, they decided to set up camp and wait until morning instead of pressing on with their hike. They chose a spot approximately 1.5 miles from the end of their intended route. If they had forged ahead just a little more, they would have been able to get help, as there were facilities at the end of the trail. However, they did not, and by morning, their condition had deteriorated further from the previous night. At this point, the woman seemed worse off than the man. Seeing his wife's condition, the man, who was also severely injured, summoned the last of his strength to continue the journey alone and seek help for his wife. Eventually, he encountered park visitors who swiftly came to his aid and notified the authorities. Over 20 search and rescue team members were promptly mobilized and rushed to the couple's stopping point. Upon their arrival, the search and rescue team discovered the man receiving assistance from fellow hikers. He was promptly transported to the Zion Emergency Operations Center for urgent medical treatment. Further along the trail, they located his wife near the Virgin River, where she lay unresponsive. Despite efforts to resuscitate her by one of the hikers, she did not respond. Tragically, it was soon confirmed that she had passed away. An investigation into the cause of the woman's death was initiated, although it was ultimately presumed to have been caused by the effects of hypothermia. To this date, the couple's names are still not known to the public, possibly due to privacy reasons. In August 2022, Jital Agnahatri decided to visit Zion National Park with 2 of her friends for a hiking trip in the Narrows. She loved spending her time outdoors, but could not do it frequently due to her hectic life as a promising young PhD researcher at the University of Arizona Department of Hydrology and Atmospheric Sciences. All things considered, she saw the hiking trip as a time to relax from the stress of academia before starting the fall semester at the University of Arizona. However, just as Jital and her friends were gearing up to start their hike, Zion Park officials issued several flash flood warnings. Given that hiking through the Narrows involved wading through the Virgin Riverbed at certain points, the prospect of being caught in the river during a flash flood was potentially life-threatening. Regardless, Jital decided to go on the hike as planned. Meanwhile, her friends chose the wiser option of staying back, and they all planned to meet up at the visitor center's parking lot later in the evening. During the hike, the flash flood struck suddenly, turning the dry washes and smooth rock surfaces of the Narrows into a dangerous river of fast-moving water and debris in just minutes. Sadly, Jital, who reportedly couldn't swim, was swept away by the flood, along with a group of other hikers. Shortly after the flash flood, park rangers were informed about hikers being swept away. They promptly organized a rescue team to assist them. One injured hiker was discovered downstream, several hundred yards away on the Virgin River, and was immediately transported to the hospital. Several other hikers found themselves stranded on elevated ground surrounded by water, but were safely escorted to dry land once the water levels went back. The rangers then interviewed the park visitors, asking if anyone was missing from their group. When no one offered information about a missing person, they believed everyone had been located. However, hours later, Jital was reported missing, likely by her friends, when she failed to appear. This triggered an immediate search effort involving a team of swiftwater-trained rescuers, search dogs, and over 170 emergency responders. On the first day of the search, Jital remained unaccounted for. As the search efforts continued, Jital's family, who had traveled to assist in the search, anxiously awaited any updates regarding her whereabouts. Her brother even spoke with news outlets, expressing his shock at the suddenness of the flash floods and lamenting the family's anguish over not knowing what Jital was experiencing. On that same day, video footage circulated by a news outlet showed at least 2 individuals desperately clinging to broken off parts of fallen trees as the flash flood carried them away. One of the individuals looked like Jital, although the video could not 100% confirm this. When Jital's brother was interviewed about it, he expressed deep concern that the chilling footage may have captured his sister's final moments. The search continued into the second day, with rescue officers carefully going through the areas where Jital might have been swept away by the flood. They focused their efforts on investigating the fast-flowing and deep sections of the river, as well as areas with dense vegetation and log jams. However, it wasn't until the fourth day of the search that Jital was finally discovered. She was found 6 miles south of the Narrows, already deceased, a grim reality later confirmed by a medical examiner. In the wake of Jital's passing, an outpouring of tributes flooded in to honor her memory. Her university described her as gracious, humble, and dedicated, while a close friend fondly remembered her as the most wonderful person and praised her kindness towards everyone. A funeral service was later held for Jital on Thursday, August 25, 2022, at Metcalf Mortuary in St. George, Utah. Amy Adamson's journey began in the rugged wilderness of Alaska, where she was born in the 1980s to a loving family. As the only girl in the family, she was showered with affection and encouragement from her mother, Janet Adamson. From an early age, it was evident that Amy possessed a thirst for knowledge and a deep love for the outdoors. After receiving a sound education, culminating in a university degree, Amy embarked on a career path that seemed destined for success, a career in teaching. Her passion for education was evident in her approach to teaching. She was known for her ability to explain complex concepts in a way that resonated with her students, fostering a deeper understanding and appreciation for learning. Despite the expectations of her family and peers, Amy's heart yearned for something more. It was during her time as a teacher that she discovered her love for backpacking. While teaching provided fulfillment, Amy found true joy and purpose in exploring the great outdoors. Her decision to leave the confines of the classroom for the vast expanse of nature was met with surprise and skepticism from those around her. However, Amy remained steadfast in her conviction that her true calling lay beyond the four walls of a classroom. She saw backpacking not just as a personal passion, but as a means to advocate for the preservation of nature and to inspire others to embark on their adventures. In 2015, Amy leaped and embarked on a journey that would change her life forever. She set out to backpack across America, traversing mountains, forests, and valleys, all the while documenting her experiences and insights. Her adventures took her to remote wilderness areas, national parks, and iconic landmarks, each step fueling her passion for exploration and discovery. Among the many parks she frequented, Yellowstone National Park held a special place in Amy's heart. Its rugged beauty and untamed wilderness drew her in time and time again, and she often found herself lost in its vast expanses, her spirit soaring with each step. On a seemingly ordinary day in 2023, Amy got up early, took her bath, gathered her gear, and set out for Yellowstone National Park, as she had done countless times before. She was a regular at the park, so she made her way in easily, and that was the last time she was seen. Little did she know it would be her final journey into the wilderness she loved so dearly. Hours turned into days, and still there was no sign of Amy. Panic gripped her mother, Janet, as she waited anxiously for her daughter's return. As the hours stretched into the evening, Janet's concern turned to alarm. When Amy failed to return home, she knew something was wrong. Racing to the park, Janet discovered that her daughter had not been seen since entering the park earlier that day. The vast expanse of Yellowstone National Park stretched out before the search team, a rugged landscape teeming with untamed wilderness. Park staff and experienced guides had assembled, their mission clear: find Amy Adamson. With her knowledge of the park and her love for the outdoors, they held on to hope that she was simply lost or injured, awaiting rescue. They combed through the park, navigating dense forests, rocky terrain, and winding trails. Their efforts were tireless, fueled by the determination to bring Amy home safely. But as the sun began to set on the horizon, their search took a grim turn. It was on the Buttermilk Trail, west of the national park, that they stumbled upon the devastating truth. Amy's lifeless body lay on the ground, her form battered and mauled, a haunting sight that sent shockwaves through the search party. Before they could begin to process the grim reality before them, Janet Adamson, Amy's mother, was whisked away to the park office, shielded from the heartbreaking scene. As the news of Amy's death spread, Janet was overcome with grief. In a public statement shared on social media, she expressed the depths of her sorrow, mourning the loss of her beloved daughter. Yet amidst the anguish, Janet found solace in the knowledge that Amy had passed away doing what she loved, exploring the wonders of the natural world. Local officials later confirmed the cause of Amy's death: excessive blood loss from a bear mauling. It was a tragic reminder of the dangers that lurk within the wilderness, particularly in areas inhabited by large carnivorous mammals like grizzly bears. Shockwaves rippled through the community, sparking a renewed conversation about wildlife safety and the importance of proper deterrence. As investigations unfolded, authorities discovered evidence pointing to an encounter with a grizzly bear. Tracks found near Amy's body confirmed the presence of the formidable predator, shedding light on the events that led to her untimely demise. Experts weighed in, offering insights into the swift and brutal nature of bear attacks, painting a chilling picture of Amy's final moments. Amidst the outcry over the dangers posed by grizzly bears, efforts were made to capture the elusive predator responsible for Amy's death. Yet despite multiple attempts to trap and remove the bear from the area, it remained elusive, evading capture time and time again. The community remained on edge, grappling with the lingering threat lurking within their midst. Months later, the same grizzly bear resurfaced, this time venturing into a residential area in search of food. In a desperate bid to protect the community, officials were forced to take decisive action, resulting in the bear's death. Through genetic analysis and other identifying factors, authorities confirmed that the bear had indeed been involved in the fatal attack on Amy, closing the chapter on a tragic saga that had gripped the community. In the wake of Amy's tragic death, her legacy lived on. Her book, Walking Out, one teacher's reflections on walking out of the classroom to walk America, served as a testament to her adventurous spirit and unwavering passion for the outdoors. Though her journey was cut short, her impact on those she touched would endure, a reminder of the fragility and beauty of life in the wild. Hun Ro, a 70-year-old retiree, found himself grappling with the boredom and loneliness that often accompany retirement. With his children all grown and living their own lives, and none of them nearby to provide companionship, Hun Ro felt adrift in a sea of idle days. As he contemplated the idea of finding a menial job to fill his time, a friend intervened, urging him to reconsider. After all, Hun Ro had spent a lifetime working hard to provide for his family, and now it was time for him to enjoy the fruits of his labor. Indeed, Hun Ro's children had all been educated thanks to his sacrifices, and they ensured that their father lacked for nothing in his retirement. Despite the physical distance separating them, they made sure to support him financially, sending money to his bank account without fail. Yet despite their efforts to provide for him, Hun Ro couldn't shake the feeling of emptiness that lingered in his heart. It was during one of his visits to Yellowstone National Park, accompanied by his friend Charlie, that Hun Ro's outlook began to change. Charlie, ever the adventurous spirit, exposed him to the vibrant life and breathtaking beauty of the park, opening his eyes to a world of possibilities beyond the confines of his own home. The pair found solace and joy in the serene landscapes and colorful waters of Yellowstone, their bond growing stronger with each visit. Even when Charlie wasn't available to accompany him, Hun Ro found himself drawn back to the park, seeking refuge and rejuvenation amidst nature's splendor. For Hun Ro, Yellowstone became more than just a destination. It became a sanctuary, a place where he could escape the monotony of everyday life and rediscover the joy of living. Whether he was exploring the winding trails or simply sitting by the tranquil lake shores, Hun Ro found peace and contentment in the natural world around him. On a seemingly ordinary Saturday, Hunro found himself drawn once again to the allure of Yellowstone National Park. Despite his friend Charlie's inability to join him, Hunro embarked on the journey alone, seeking solace and serenity amidst the natural beauty that surrounded him. Making his way to the hot springs, Hunro relished the tranquility of the landscape, the bubbling waters offering a soothing respite from the cares of the world. Hours passed in blissful solitude until the tranquility was shattered by the frantic cries of a tourist. Rushing to the scene, park guides were met with a chilling discovery: a human leg protruding from the surface of the lake. As they followed the tourist's lead, they made a grim realization: the lifeless body of Hunro, floating in the water, his fate sealed by unknown circumstances. Unaccompanied and unidentified, Hunro's death remained a mystery in the days that followed. It wasn't until 3 months later that his family received the devastating news, their grief compounded by the uncertainty surrounding his final moments. The discovery of his foot, encased in a shoe, floating in the hot spring, only deepened the mystery surrounding his death. With no witnesses to shed light on the events that transpired, investigators were left grasping for answers, their efforts thwarted by a lack of evidence. While some speculated that he may have accidentally fallen into the spring and been unable to escape, others remained skeptical, questioning the circumstances surrounding his untimely demise. Despite their best efforts, the National Park Service concluded its investigation, opting not to share any additional information with the public. For the grieving family of Hunro, the news of his tragic death sent shockwaves through their lives, leaving them grappling with the pain of loss and the unanswered questions that lingered in its wake. With heavy hearts, they traveled to Wyoming to lay their beloved father to rest, honoring his memory with a dignified and heartfelt farewell. As they gathered to mourn and remember the man who had touched their lives in countless ways, they found solace in the cherished memories they shared. Though his death may remain shrouded in mystery, the love and legacy of Hunro would endure as a beacon of light in the darkness of their grief. The Griffin family lived in a quaint suburban neighborhood, seemingly idyllic on the surface, but harboring a turbulent storm within their own home. Beth Morris, the matriarch, had long grappled with the fiery temper of her youngest daughter, Catherine. If only she had known the consequences of indulging Catherine's fiery nature from a young age, perhaps things would have turned out differently. As the youngest sibling, Catherine's fiery temper was apparent from the moment she entered the world. Her older brother, Aaron, bore witness to her tumultuous childhood, often finding himself caught in the crossfire of her outbursts. One particular incident stood out in his memory, etched into his mind like a scar. It was the day their father, Ross, decided to shave off his beard, a decision that would unknowingly unleash Catherine's wrath upon the unsuspecting family. At just 5 years old, Catherine could not comprehend the significance of her father's grooming choice. To her, it was a betrayal of the familiar, a disruption of the status quo she had grown accustomed to. With tears streaming down her face, she unleashed her signature hot temper upon her father, refusing to accept the unfamiliar face that stared back at her. In her young mind, Ross had committed an unforgivable sin, and she was having none of it. As Catherine grew older, her fiery temper only intensified, becoming a source of constant tension within the Griffin household. Arguments erupted like wildfire, leaving emotional scars that lingered long after the flames had died down. Beth Morris, burdened by guilt and regret, wished she had taken a firmer stance with Catherine from the very beginning. An incident occurred when she was 38 years old. Catherine always sought solace from her demanding work as a construction worker by visiting Yellowstone National Park with her travel companion, McCollum, on weekends. However, an argument escalated due to Catherine's fiery temper, leading to a tragic outcome. In the heat of the moment, Catherine impulsively retrieved a gun, and despite it being a verbal dispute, ended her own life. The open windows of McCollum's truck allowed the sound of the gunshot to reverberate through the park, causing panic among staff and tourists alike. The sudden eruption of chaos shattered the tranquility of the park as people fled in fear for their safety. McCollum, reeling from shock and disbelief, emerged from the truck and sank to the ground, overcome by the weight of the tragic events unfolding before him. It wasn't long before park authorities arrived on the scene, drawn by the commotion and the trail of despair left in its wake. As they approached the truck, they discovered Catherine's lifeless body, blood staining the seat beside her. Amid the chaos, McCollum found himself thrust into the spotlight, facing charges of drug possession and traffic violations in connection with Catherine's death. As authorities worked to piece together the events leading up to the tragic incident, Beth Ross, Catherine's mother, and Aaron, her brother, were notified of the incident, their grief palpable as they struggled to come to terms with the sudden and senseless loss. For Beth, the memories of Catherine as a child, the moments of tenderness and affection, clashed with the harsh reality of her daughter's untimely demise. Despite their grief, the family confirmed Catherine's relationship with McCollum, a detail that authorities chose not to disclose publicly. As Beth reflected on Catherine's upbringing, she recalled moments of comfort and solace, when Catherine would seek refuge in her mother's embrace, seeking reassurance and love. It was a stark contrast to the fiery temper that had defined Catherine's adult life, a reminder of the complexity of the human spirit and the struggles that lay beneath the surface. Aaron, Catherine's brother, also struggled to find solace in memories of happier times, knowing that dwelling in the past would only serve to deepen his sorrow. For him, moving forward meant confronting the painful reality of Catherine's death head-on, a daunting task that seemed insurmountable in the wake of such tragedy. Mark O'Neill and his half-brother's relationship was like no other. Mark was 67, while his half-brother, Kim Crumbo, was 74 years old. Despite their 7-year age gap, they still enjoyed the best of their time together. Both of them worked as conservationists, and during their free time, they explored nature. Both men had dedicated their lives to the preservation of the natural world, working tirelessly to protect and conserve the pristine landscapes they held dear. Together, they embarked on countless adventures, exploring the wilderness and immersing themselves in the beauty of the great outdoors. For O'Neill and Crumbo, each expedition was more than just a journey into the unknown. It was an opportunity to deepen their understanding of the intricate workings of nature and to marvel at the wonders of the world around them. With each step they took and each discovery they made, they grew closer as brothers and as comrades in arms in the fight to safeguard our planet's precious resources. On one fateful day, O'Neill and Crumbo set out on a deep nature exploration, their sights set on Shoshone Lake in Wyoming. Armed with nothing but their passion for conservation and a thirst for adventure, they embarked on a 4-night journey into the heart of the backcountry, eager to immerse themselves in the untamed beauty of the wilderness. After setting up camp beside the tranquil shores of the lake, the brothers in spirit settled in for the night, their hearts filled with anticipation for the adventures that lay ahead. As they drifted off to sleep beneath the star-studded sky, they dreamed of the wonders they would encounter in the days to come. When morning dawned and the first rays of sunlight pierced the horizon, they set out for their adventure. But during this adventure, something tragic occurs. The tranquility of Shoshone Lake was shattered by the shocking discovery made by a group of tourists who had ventured into the backcountry for a day of exploration. As they wandered through the bush near the water's edge, their conversation punctuated the stillness of the wilderness, their footsteps rustling through the undergrowth as they made their way along the trail. Suddenly, their progress was halted by the abrupt cessation of movement from the tourist at the head of the line. As his companions clustered around him, curiosity piqued. Their eyes were drawn to the lifeless form of Mark O'Neill, lying near the shore, his body still and silent amidst the beauty of the natural landscape. Shock and disbelief rippled through the group as they grappled with the grim reality of what lay before them. With level-headed maturity, they quickly sprang into action, contacting emergency services and alerting authorities to the tragic discovery they had made. O'Neill's body was swiftly transported to the hospital, where an autopsy revealed the cause of his death to be hypothermia, a chilling reminder of the unforgiving power of nature and the dangers that lurk within its embrace. As news of O'Neill's tragic fate spread, concern mounted for the whereabouts of his brother, Kim Crumbo, who had embarked on the backcountry excursion with him. Relatives grew increasingly anxious when the brothers failed to return from their expected 4-night trip, prompting them to report them as overdue to park authorities. The search for Crumbo was launched with renewed urgency, as teams scoured the area near Shoshone Lake on foot, by boat, and with the assistance of search dogs and helicopters. Every effort was made to locate him, with sonar equipment deployed to search for clues beneath the surface of the water. Despite the exhaustive efforts of search and rescue teams, Crumbo remained elusive, his whereabouts shrouded in mystery as the investigation into his disappearance continued. As days turned into weeks, hope dwindled that he would be found alive, leaving loved ones to grapple with the agonizing uncertainty of his fate. Yet amidst the despair and heartache, there remained a glimmer of optimism, a steadfast belief that Crumbo's resilience and survival instincts would see him through even the darkest of times. With each passing day, the search continued, fueled by the unwavering determination to bring him home and provide closure for his grieving family. As the incident remained under investigation, the search for Crumbo persisted, with volunteers and authorities alike refusing to give up hope of finding him alive. Though the passage of time brought with it challenges and uncertainties, the resolve to reunite Crumbo with his loved ones remained unwavering, a beacon of hope in the face of overwhelming adversity. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the search for Kim Crumbo continued, a testament to the enduring power of love, hope, and the unbreakable bond between two brothers, united by a shared passion for conservation and a love of the great outdoors. Andrew and Lucy Foster, a couple deeply in love, planned an exciting adventure to Yosemite National Park, aiming to climb the famous El Capitan. Their love story, combined with their passion for climbing, created a beautiful picture of friendship surrounded by nature's wonders. Andrew, from Cardiff, worked for Patagonia, a well-known outdoor clothing brand, reflecting his love for the outdoors. Lucy, hailing from Shropshire, shared Andrew's enthusiasm for exploration, her adventurous spirit as lively as the winds in Yosemite's valleys. Their trip to Yosemite was more than just a climbing adventure. It was a celebration of their love and partnership. Along with their friends Paul and Sarah Black, they embarked on a week-long trip to mark their wedding anniversary. Their climb began at dawn, and it was challenging from the start. Progress was slow, with each step showing their determination and resilience. Eventually, they decided to turn back. By lunchtime, as they began their descent, it was a brief pause from their challenging day. However, fate had other plans. While navigating the rocky pass, a sudden rockfall disrupted the peacefulness of the wilderness. Panic set in as Andrew shouted for Lucy to run from the danger. In her haste, Lucy tripped and fell hard to the ground. Above her, debris began to fall from the sky. In that critical moment, Andrew's instinct to protect Lucy overcame all else. He covered her with his body to shield her from the falling rocks. As the dust settled and the calm returned, Lucy stood up from the debris, injured but resilient. Beside her, Andrew lay injured and bleeding. With shaky hands and a heavy heart, Lucy used her shirt as a makeshift bandage to try and stop his bleeding. In the distance, Lucy's calls for help echoed through the canyon, a desperate sound in the vast wilderness. As rescue teams arrived, Andrew's life was hanging by a thread, his survival uncertain. Despite the chaos, one thing was clear: their love was boundless. With tears streaming down her face, she recounted their terrifying ordeal, praising Andrew's bravery and selflessness. In her eyes, he was a hero, an angel who had sacrificed everything to keep her safe. Despite the despair, there was a flicker of hope. One of the rescuers, composed amidst the chaos, found a faint pulse in Andrew. That moment brought a spark of hope to everyone present. As the minutes turned into hours, a helicopter arrived and transported him to the hospital. Despite all efforts, Andrew succumbed to his injuries. The autopsy report outlined the severe injuries he had suffered, each a brutal reminder of nature's force. The report also noted that there was no alcohol or drugs in Andrew's system, highlighting his clear-headedness in the face of danger. In a moment of extreme peril, he had chosen to protect his love, shining as a beacon of hope amidst the tragedy that struck Yosemite. For Lucy, the path to recovery was strewn with both physical and emotional scars, each a stark reminder of the cost of their love. Yet despite the pain and sorrow that threatened to overwhelm her, she found comfort in knowing that Andrew's spirit continued through the memories they had shared and the love that had bound them together. As news of Andrew's passing spread across continents, his family united in grief, their hearts heavy with the weight of loss. Yosemite, once a place of joy and adventure, now bore the somber mark of tragedy, a reminder of the fragility of life. Andrew was posthumously honored by the Royal Humane Society for his act of bravery. Their words echoed the sentiments of all who were touched by his story, describing his actions as a last act of love, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit in the face of adversity. For the Kim family, camping at Yosemite had become a cherished tradition, a summer ritual they eagerly anticipated each year. Nestled in the stunning landscapes of the Sierra Nevada, the national park offered them a retreat from their bustling Orange County life, a chance to reconnect with nature and each other. Little did they know that this year's trip would end in an unimaginable tragedy. This trip marked the Kim family's 6th visit to Yosemite, a testament to their deep love for the outdoors. However, it held significance as their 14-year-old son, Dragon, first brought a friend along for the adventure. Dragon, named in the auspicious Year of the Golden Dragon, was eager to share the magic of Yosemite with his friend Justin Lee from Irvine. It was also the first year the two teenagers would sleep in their tents, a sign of their growing independence and maturity. Dragon and Justin shared a special bond, having attended Pioneer Middle School in Tustin together and played water polo as teammates. Dragon's talents extended far beyond the sports field. He displayed a remarkable aptitude for economics and physics, and his passion for music was unparalleled. With an impressive range of 10 instruments, ranging from piano to clarinet, Dragon was a musical prodigy in his own right, a testament to his dedication and discipline. Upon their arrival on Thursday afternoon, the Kim family wasted no time in setting up camp and immersing themselves in the wonders of Yosemite. They reunited with friends at Curry Village, indulging in a hearty barbecue under the starlit sky, filled with laughter and camaraderie. As they retired to their tents for the night, anticipation filled the air, with Daniel Kim, Dragon's father, eagerly looking forward to a morning hike to Vernal Fall and a serene moment of reflection at the cathedral. The serene stillness of the night was shattered by a loud crack, a sound that reverberated through the Upper Pines campground, jolting the Kim family from their slumber. Daniel and Grace Kim, along with their 13-year-old daughter Hannah, were jolted awake by the ominous noise, a precursor to the tragedy about to unfold. Rushing outside their tent, the Kims were met with utter devastation. A massive limb from a towering oak tree had crashed onto the tent where Dragon and his friend Justin lay sleeping, mere feet away from their parents' shelter. The gravity of the situation was palpable as neighboring families, stirred by the commotion, rushed to lend assistance, their flashlights cutting through the darkness as they dialed 911, desperate for help. Paramedics arrived swiftly, their efforts valiant but ultimately in vain. Dragon and Justin, vibrant young souls full of promise and potential, had been taken from this world in the blink of an eye, leaving behind a void that could never be filled. As the shock of the tragedy began to subside, Grace Kim grappled with a profound sense of loss. Her son, her beloved Dragon, had been snatched away from her in the cruelest of ways, leaving her heartbroken and empty. Yet amidst the overwhelming grief, Grace resolved to honor her son's memory in a way that would keep his spirit alive. Drawing upon Dragon's passion for music, Grace, a Stanford business graduate and former Yahoo brand manager, and her husband Daniel, an investment banker, embarked on a mission to create something meaningful from their unimaginable loss. Thus, the Dragon Kim Foundation was born, a nonprofit organization that provides underprivileged students with access to classical music education. With a lofty goal of raising between $500,000 and $1 million, the Kims set out to fulfill Dragon's dream of making music accessible to all. Their vision encompassed providing students with instruments and covering the cost of lessons at the prestigious Camp Orange County School of the Arts, where Dragon would have been a junior had he lived. Yellowstone National Park, renowned for its natural beauty and abundant wildlife, attracts visitors from all corners of the United States, especially during long weekends. However, with the influx of newcomers, there comes a risk of ignorance or disregard for the park's rules and guidelines, particularly regarding interactions with wildlife. On Memorial Day of 2022, this risk became a stark reality when a woman in her 20s found herself in a harrowing encounter with a bison. Park authorities have long emphasized the need for visitors to maintain a safe distance from wildlife and to refrain from approaching or attempting to interact with them. Despite these warnings, incidents like the one on Memorial Day underscore the consequences of disregarding these guidelines. The journey of the 25-year-old woman from Grove City, Ohio, to the awe-inspiring landscapes of Yellowstone National Park began with the innocent desire to immerse herself in the beauty of nature. Little did she anticipate that her adventure would take a perilous turn, forever altering the course of her narrative. On a serene Monday morning, as she ventured along the wooden boardwalk near the Black Sand Basin, her path intersected that of a bison, a formidable creature that embodies the untamed spirit of the American West. In a fleeting moment of curiosity, or perhaps obliviousness to the inherent danger, she approached the bison, unknowingly triggering a chain of events that would culminate in a terrifying confrontation. The bison, sensing a potential threat to its territory, reacted with instinctual aggression, unleashing its formidable strength upon the unsuspecting woman. The force of the attack sent her hurtling through the air, a shocking testament to the power and ferocity of the wild animal. The consequences of the encounter were dire, as the woman suffered grievous injuries, including a puncture wound inflicted by the bison's powerful horns. In the aftermath of the attack, first responders swiftly arrived at the scene, their timely intervention proving crucial in stabilizing her condition and ensuring her survival. With the utmost urgency, the woman was transported to Eastern Idaho Regional Medical Center, where a team of medical professionals worked tirelessly to provide her with the care and treatment she so desperately needed. As news of the incident spread, conflicting reports regarding the woman's fate emerged, with some prematurely declaring her death. However, it is imperative to exercise caution and refrain from speculation until official confirmation is provided by the relevant authorities. In the meantime, the incident serves as a sobering reminder of the inherent dangers that accompany interactions with wildlife in Yellowstone National Park and other natural environments. While these majestic landscapes offer unparalleled opportunities for exploration and discovery, they also demand a profound respect for the delicate balance between humans and wildlife. As the investigation into the incident continues, it is incumbent upon all visitors to Yellowstone and other wilderness areas to exercise caution, adhere to park regulations, and prioritize their safety and the well-being of the natural world. Only through responsible stewardship and vigilant awareness can we ensure that future generations continue to enjoy the splendor of these cherished landscapes without risking harm or injury.